Good morning. Welcome back to White Mountains today. We are here with Debbie Hare from Toastmasters, Mount Washington Valley Toastmasters. I wanted to make sure I got that clear. And so we've had various Toastmasters on the program before, and so we're pretty well versed. But why don't we give kind of an overview of what Toastmasters is all about?
Well, Toastmasters is an opportunity for people to come together to encourage one another and to learn ways to present themselves. Speaking especially is important, but also just being in front of a group. And we do it, there are lots of ways to do it. There's an educational track, there's a leadership track. Once you get involved, there are many ways to just make yourself better in terms of being in front of people.
Now, who can benefit from Toastmasters?
Anyone. Anyone. I
knew the answer to that.
Yes. I used to speak to homeschool conferences and decided to do this, and I'm really glad I did because I really have gotten so much better. Feeling a little more confident in front of people, but also feeling like I have something to say. When I was a speaker and hadn't had this kind of training, I didn't always trust that I had something to share. But in Toastmasters, you have an opportunity to discover who you are and discover your voice. I heard that yesterday at a training, that Toastmasters gives people a chance to discover their own voice.
And so many people, a lot of people are thinking, well, I don't need that. I don't need a reason. I don't speak in front of a crowd or anything like that. But we all do, in one way or another, whether it's a job interview or high school students with a college interview, or speaking with your auto mechanic, explaining what your car is doing. Any of these things, everybody can benefit from Toastmasters and learning how to speak. And a lot of it is I don't want to use the word concise because it isn't necessarily concise, but getting to the point is.
Getting to the point is actually one of the projects, one of the speech projects is getting to the point in 5 to 7 minutes. And sometimes you would be surprised at how difficult it is to get to a point in 5 to 7 minutes. We also do something called table topics, which is, is great fun. You have 1 to 2 minutes. Somebody will give you a prompt, and it's an improvisational speech that you give. And you have to get to the point fairly quickly in that. And there are lots of reasons in our society why we need to get to the point. When we make a phone call to win the prize, perhaps, or when we're at a job interview, like you said. There are reasons we need to get to the point.
Absolutely. And and I have done it. I've been to Toastmasters a few times and would go if schedules always get in the way. But I really think that 2-minute time, because you have to think about, all right, I have to get to my point before my time is up. And sometimes you go, I'm going to now give a little backstory. Well, you don't have time for that. But sometimes you need a little hint of that backstory. So it's a really great opportunity for people to learn that.
Absolutely.
And so you do that every week. And Toastmasters is also one of those things. I think sometimes you go to meetings, I don't. Is it going to be an hour? Is it going to be 2 hours? I don't know. Toastmasters is very well organized, and that's one of the great things too. Learning organization, especially if you are somebody who runs a meeting or partakes in a lot of meetings, you can learn a lot from the way that Toastmasters is organized. You know when you're leaving.
Yes,
at night.
yes. We're done at 8 o'clock. We start at 6:30 and we're finished at 8. And most people are like, I want it to go a little longer, just because it's so much fun. There's a lot of laughter every meeting. The table topics is great. There are opportunities for people who are really shy to have a chance to just speak a little bit. And that's a great way for some people to start off their speaking career.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's very comfortable there. It's one of those things that, when you walk in the room, you're like, well, I don't know all these people. But then the table topic is, warms everybody up. And it's like, well, do you want to speak? You're like, yeah, I will. And it's so supportive. And once you do it, that one time, you're like, wow, I was able to speak in front of that crowd. And maybe that's important to speak in front of a small crowd. Maybe you need to speak in front of a big crowd at some point in your life. Start small, and Toastmasters, what a great opportunity.
Absolutely. And as you said, it is very supportive. You never feel criticized. If you go in, my last speech, I made a lot of mistakes. I've done better on every speech prior, but the last one, I was very encouraged with the support. And I would go back and do it again over and over because of the support that you feel.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. As I'm trying to avoid saying and right now,
Yes.
just from the few times I've gone, I am more conscious of the ums and the ahs and what a difference it makes if you can avoid that. And when you hear somebody speak who speaks so clearly and avoids those little, there we go, abbreviations or whatever it might be, their point gets across so much clearer.
Right. Those are filler words. And
Filler words, that's the word.
Yes. And we have somebody who keeps track of the filler words. And even in that, at the end of the night, they report on who used the most filler words. But it's fun. Even in that, we have fun. But we're aware for the future what we need to work on.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So how does somebody get involved with Toastmasters?
We meet the first, third, and fifth Wednesday, of every month at Granite State College. We have a social time sort of at 6 o'clock where you can come in and meet people. The meeting starts at 6:30. We try to end at 8 o'clock. Come, you can call if you want. Actually, it would be better to find us on Facebook,
Yep.
Mount Washington Valley Toastmasters, and just show up. You'll have a great time. I promise that.
Absolutely. And it is, and the variety of people who are there, that was one of the things when I first went. I could think maybe people thought, oh, it's going to be all, business people who have to speak for a living. No, it was this wide variety of people, students and retired folks and everybody. And that's one of the reasons I think that also makes it so comfortable there.
I agree with you. Some of my favorite people are the youngest people there. And then there are people who, as you say, are retired. It's fun to be with people that you wouldn't necessarily normally be with.
Right.
And to get to know people in different walks of life. It's really, really a wonderful feeling to be among people like that.
Right. And our very own Hans Bauer, he's there every week. And I was there when Hans did a great presentation as Abe
Yes.
Lincoln. And really, I learned a lot about good old honest Abe. And that's just part of it. So you get a chance to meet. And Hans, you have said that it has been a big boon for you.
Oh, absolutely.
To be a part of Toastmasters.
Absolutely.
And your job, you speak with people. You speak to people. And so how much do you think Toastmasters has helped you in your current position?
Well, as Debbie suggested, there's also a large aspect of organization. The meetings are highly structured, highly organized. Some things as simple as being prompt on time for meetings, for interviews, etc. We follow all of these aspects of being professional, and yet we have a good time doing it. So.
And I don't think there's anybody who's ever said, I didn't enjoy Toastmasters.
I agree.
Because you can get something out of it. Even if you're one of the people who wants to sit in the back and observe mostly, you're still going to get so much out of Toastmasters. So I encourage anybody to go. I'm trying to work out my Wednesdays so I can get back to Toastmasters because there's so much. And I do want to just take a quick jump. You guys, Toastmasters, went into the high school.
Yes, two of our members, the president and Andrea Libby, and the vice president of public relations, Megan Simone, went into the high school. They taught a class, I'm using filler words now, they taught a class on evaluating yourself and evaluating one another. And that class has taken off with it, and they've been doing a lot of evaluations on one another and on themselves, and have made presentations themselves based on that. And I think what a great opportunity. Some of our members have also gone to the Rotary Club in Meredith and made a similar presentation with Hans's Abe Lincoln, and just given people in the community a feel for what we do.
Yeah.
And we welcome the opportunity to do that more with organizations, but we also will welcome members of organizations to come to us and see what we do.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just such a great thing. I'd love to see, Toastmasters starting in 6th grade. get kids being able to speak in front of a crowd, because you're going to do that. You're going to, in your life, you're going to make a presentation in some form,
Yes.
no matter who you are. So it's a great way to get involved with it. And if you don't feel you can commit to everything, you're welcome to stop in.
That's right. Absolutely. We welcome visitors all the time. And I know I actually was a visitor for about a month and a half before I decided to join. So you don't have to be a visitor once and make a commitment to
Right.
join immediately. Just stop by, have a good evening with us, get to meet a few people you wouldn't otherwise meet, and maybe even stand up and say something before the end of the night. You'll enjoy yourself, I'm sure.
And you'll be surprised that you're like, I want to get up and talk.
Yes, that's absolutely right. I wanted to get up and talk my first night. Never in my lifetime would have I thought that would have been the case.
Yeah.
So.
Well, thank you so much for coming by today.
Thank you,
and
Rob.
and chatting with us. And of course, you can check out MWV Toastmasters on Facebook.
Yes.
And you also have a website too, do you not?
We do. I
so you
believe
can
it's
Google
MWV
Mount Washington Valley
Toastmasters.com.
Toastmasters
Yes.
and find out all the information.
Absolutely.
Terrific. Well, thank
That's
you
right.
so much for coming by.
Thank you.
And we'll be back here in a minute on White Mountains Today.
Okay.